on this episode of Podigious.
That loser doesn't exist anymore.
This really is all my fault. If I just hadn't given him all those stupid milkshakes.
They're arcs for transporting data.
Arcs?
Okay.
Susie's a tamer? To a deva?
I need your password. You can use mine to get on the internet.
Podigious!
Welcome to Podigious, episode 308. My milkshake brings all the mon to the pond.
Digital World Part 2.
Side Tamers, Communicating Stakes, and Make-Believe.
Recorded May 15th, 2016.
Podigious is your critically nostalgic, analytical tour through the Digimon anime. I'm Jeff Ruberg, and I'm joined by my Diginomes, Ashley McDonald.
And they're like, it's better than yours.
Asher Softman.
Momentai.
Momentai yourself, Ash. And Andrew Softman.
High-pitched squeaking sound.
Now you're going to try.
High-pitched squeaking sound.
On that note, this week we're looking at episodes 30 through 33.
In episode 30, The Imperfect Storm, aka Happiness is Fleeting. Everyone reunites, but Beelzemon runs away because he's too dark for lightning. Cat Dog steals Calumon, and Guilmon is left on a field trip without his dad.
In episode 31, Kazu's Upgrade, aka it only took Jerry 8 episodes to successfully use a Digimodify card, Rika chaperones the side characters into a reenactment of Okami. They rescue White Savior Antylamon, and Jerry's milkshake brings all the Snake Boys to the yard.
In episode 32, Shibumi Speaks, aka Info Dump 101, Takato and Henry use their PDA to text the Digimon PTA. Once they realize that they're Blitzball players, they swim away and learn that the internet is a series of tubes. They find a digital library, attend a Digi-lecture, and fly away in a Digivice.
In episode 33, Rabbit Transit, aka My Neighbor Totoromon, Susie goes to play in the park, but is abducted by Unicode characters, so she plays in the digital world. She searches for Terriermon, but buys a bootleg version instead. So yeah, another arc.
Stuff happened.
Stuff happens,
so
the team grows. What are your general impressions of this arc?
After the first 5 infuriating minutes, I actually really liked it.
And Asher?
That's actually pretty much my reaction too. I paid attention almost the whole time. And actually, look. I actually have not seen the first 3 episodes of this arc before now. This is my first time seeing those episodes.
Oh.
I forget so is it that you didn't see the end of the season or you missed random parts?
I think I missed random parts because I saw the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw Rabbit Transit at least once, which is why I didn't pay that much attention to it.
I feel like that was the one that was least familiar to me. I was like, what's happening? Like, what's up?
And Angie, what were your general impressions?
I don't know. Like, this arc was okay. Like, it's very inconsistent at times. And then you get hit with exposition. It's exposition, right?
Yes.
I mean,
that's the word.
It's a big info dump, and
yeah, it's just. Sometimes, like the first episode was fine. The second episode really, really annoyed me.
Why?
The third episode was just an info dump, and then the fourth one was honestly my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It wasn't the funniest one, but it was cute.
I had feelings.
Yeah, I found the fourth one really cute, and like I had a lot of moments that I was like, oh, this is a great moment, but
really?
Huh. There was a moment where I almost cried.
Really?
What? As you keep saying really over and over.
I guess I
did not feel things.
I did not, because the whole time I was like, kids don't actually act like this.
Okay, well, my sad moment wasn't with Susie. It was
Antylamon?
It was when John-Yu, like when she disappears and then John-Yu gets really upset.
That was good, actually. Yes, I liked that part.
I liked when John-Yu fell on Yumaki on the slide.
I liked that too.
Well, I was just like, oh, that's tragic.
That's not tragic, actually, that's fate. They're meant to be.
No.
Kismet.
No.
Yeah, I appreciate that it's like a nice kind of setting the stage, kind of calm before the storm. I really didn't like the first episode because I felt like it was just moving pieces around, kind of, and there wasn't really much like Yeah, and again, and like it was like there wasn't much like meat to it, like thematically or characterally or anything. It was basically just like characters move around plot. I guess there was like, you know, it was nice to see Calumon and it was nice to see Calumon and Rika have some time together. But
Yeah.
aside from that, it was just felt like they need to like reunite everyone before splitting them up again in a different rearrangement.
Yeah, I guess, but it was nice to have that reunion and to actually have people moving instead of just being all over the place and not together and going back to the flag and leaving the flag and going back to the flag.
Yeah, I was like, oh, how many times do we have to go through this plan before it works? What is this?
The flag's not even there anymore.
But it was a little annoying that they did kind of just end up right exactly where they were.
What I realized in how we split these episodes up, it kind of is a little awkward because I think this first episode, episode 30, really fits with the other ones because it's basically like 6 episodes about revolving around that flagpole.
That's how we should have split it.
But yeah, I mean, then we would have had 3 episodes of this one. It would have been awkward. It wouldn't have made sense to actually split that way. But like those 6 episodes together are like everyone just revolving on the flagpole, going back and forth. And at the end of it, they all get back to the flagpole and then split up again. And then I don't think they ever go back there again. So it's like,
Yeah, actually, if you had like not started our arc with this, I would have been really confused about like where they were and how did they get there. So I'm glad we got to start with this one, but it was not, you know, a great episode.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they're splitting up. Felt like the digital storm thing. I was like, this actually feels plausible. And like,
right. The first time it gets split up, it's just like you're all just kind of running in weird ways, and like
Yeah,
this
like,
time
it's
it was
just
like
like-
there's lots of going on. Like Katsuramon comes in, kills out Calumon, Beelzemon is about to attack them. There's a storm. Like then the things show up. It's just like all this chaos stuff going on. It makes sense that everyone gets split up. It makes sense that everyone gets split up.
Yeah.
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 So my favorite episode, we were talking about favorite episodes a little bit. I kind of had a tie between episode 33 because of all the cute moments between Susie and Antylamon, but also episode 32 because I just really loved the communication with the PDA to the parents, and I was like, oh, that's really nice. And
Yeah, I had no idea that happened because I've never seen these episodes.
Oh yeah. I had clear memories of them, like the parents being in that place. It's like the Shinjuku Opera House building. I had clear memories of them like being in that area. I think they convened there later, so it's not like just this episode. But I had also forgotten that they actually like, you know, email back and forth a little bit. But also the info dump was underwhelming because I remember it being like this huge like explaining everything kind of situation, and now I'm like, it's kind of underwhelming, but at least I like that it was there. So
I mean, there's another info dump where I think that's the case where everybody...
Is there?
Yeah.
I guess I can think of what you're referring to. This is the one that always like stood out to me as like the explaining all the origins of the digital world and stuff like that.
No, we had no information in that info dump.
Yeah, I was like, I am way more confused than I was before. I'm with you, Takato. Like, what is up?
So, Ashley, who's your favorite character?
No, wait, but I have a favorite scene from... I think my favorite episode was 33, but I loved when Henry fought Divermon or whatever.
Yes!
Yes!
That was so good! It's like, finally, Henry's kung fu actually matters.
That was pretty cool. Although you can't use kung fu underwater. Like, I can understand you can imagine away the breathing, but like...
Hey.
You can't imagine away the physics.
He imagined away the water resistance. Yes, you can.
You can imagine anything.
That water resistance was not a thing anymore, and it worked.
Wait, okay. This is kind of a tangent, but this is like a deep philosophical question I have. So,
okay,
when you're underwater and you're under the digital water, like you can imagine. It's about whether you believe that the water is real or not, whether you can breathe it or not.
Okay.
And but when Henry gets out of the water, and Takato feels his head, whose belief is it that affects whether Takato feels wetness? Is it Henry's belief that his hair is wet? Or is it Takato's belief that Henry's head is wet?
I think it should be Takato's.
Yeah, it should be Takato's, and yet Takato was almost like,
I think he got that belief from Henry's confidence that he's not wet.
I disagree with this use of like, you must truly believe something. Like, you don't come to believe something in 3 seconds. You like think it. Like, thinking it and believing it are 2 different things. But whatever. Okay, fine.
Okay, sorry for the tangent. Any more favorite scenes or episodes?
No.
Okay, so Ashley, who's your favorite character? Who's your MVD?
So many characters now, and they all do so little at a time. It's so hard. I'm gonna pick Antylamon.
Yes.
Antylamon.
Wait, is that
or
like yes?
Antylamon.
I have gripes with that.
I know you do.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you saw my Twitter rant or not.
I always see your Twitter.
What are you talking about?
Wait, what?
He was complaining about romanization of like Japanese words
Right,
earlier.
so Antylamon, the English name, right? The Japanese name is Antylamon, right? Like the RL. It's basically the same thing except for the RL. But like in Japanese, it's a mix of both. So really, they just chose one of the versions where the English they chose the L, whatever. It's a mix of both in Japanese. But the like official romanization in the like the reference book cards and stuff says Andyramon, which is the like the I forget what the like
The Deva?
the celestial general thing that it's based on is Andira. So the reference book was like, okay, this is the intent of the word, so we're going to say Andira, even though there is no D. It's a T. It's a T, not a D in Japanese. But when people use like the names that the sub uses, they write Andyramon, and so I'm like, So wait, so did we all choose Antylamon?
Yeah.
All four of us?
Oh, you chose Antylamon
Yeah, I chose
too?
Antylamon too.
Okay. Then yes.
Is there really any contest?
I almost picked John Yu, but I decided to go with Antylamon.
I almost picked Yumaki.
Oh, okay.
I'm not judging, but I think you're a terrible person. I mean,
I think Antylamon is a better choice.
okay, so that's whoever picked Antylamon in the fantasy draft is going to be like,
Oh man, they're gonna get a jillion points. Was Antylamon like mostly silent in the original, or?
I'm not sure about mostly silent, but they definitely added more dialogue, I'm pretty sure. I remember reading.
I mean, it's par for the course. But it just seemed like there was a lot of scenes where she like nodded and stuff that I thought like, but also said something in English that I thought in Japanese were probably more subtle and just like the nod was enough.
Yeah, there's also the fact that it's not revealed in the Japanese. So people aren't aware Japanese is really ambiguous about, not ambiguous, it just it doesn't use pronouns a lot of the time. So gender can be a lot more ambiguous. So in this case, in this episode in Japanese, Antylamon is never referred to, their gender is never made clear. And in the English dub, they, have a very female voice and also use female pronouns. But in the Japanese version, I think in episode 42, so about 10 episodes from now, they start referring, there's apparently some mention of Antylamon being male. So that's a thing.
I mean, I figured it was a thing, but I appreciated that she was coded as female in the English.
I agree.
Yeah, I like that relationship. Not that like the gender defines a relationship or anything.
You don't have to backtrack every time.
No, but I mean, I realize like I don't think that's a great thing to think like, oh yeah, their relationship is only cute because they're both girls. Like that seems weird.
Well, that's not the impression I got from you saying that. I think that there are certain things, there are certain elements to a relationship that happen when people go through some of the same things. Mm-hmm. And sexism clearly exists in the digital world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just liked it because I've always thought of Antylamon as male, so I liked being like, oh, it's a female Antylamon.
I guess I always did too because of like the...
Because of the movie.
Yeah, because of the movie. And I can't remember if like the voice was explicitly male then, but just because of Willis or Wallace being male, I made that...
well, they call him male.
Oh, okay.
He has like a
in the English
voice.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked this Antylamon being female because it's like subverted my expectations. Like, oh, this is different. And kind of subverts the expectation that all Digimon have the same gender across all instances of them or whatever.
Yeah.
So our first topic is a Patreon submitted topic from, it was submitted by Stevie Patamon, but through Sam Kriwagamon. It is on the subject of side tamers. So some of the new tamers we got in this arc, like Kazu and Suzy, but also Jerry.
Are you saying Jerry's not a main character?
Yes.
She's totally a main character because she totally got one whole toy.
Also, because she digimodifies all the time.
Yeah.
And she has her own Digimodify animation.
Well, she does have that.
No, she doesn't.
Wait, she doesn't?
She doesn't get to do a cool hand motion or anything.
Oh,
they traced over everybody else's.
Wait, so do they just show her like...
They show her face. And then there's just like an odd 2 seconds of nothing happening. And then she swipes the card.
I was like, why is there a weird pause here?
Yeah. Because she doesn't do anything with her hands.
I thought she still swipes, though, but it's just like a simple swipe.
She does still swipe, but it is a simple swipe.
I mean, she's just imitating Rio. Rio just stands there and is like, huzzah.
I don't
like,
know
straight.
We don't talk about Rio in this podcast.
Yeah, I assumed that pause was like an English dub thing, but no, it's there in the Japanese version too.
Yeah, I thought I was like, I have no idea what just happened here.
So to clarify, because this is kind of hard for me to like, I didn't really remember this detail, but right, so in the animation sequence, it shows their face dramatically, and then each of the 3 main tamers has like some flashy thing they do with their hands, and then it shows them swiping through the thing. But yeah, so she just has like a thing where they just show her dramatic face for a couple of seconds longer.
Yep.
It's really awkward.
It is super awkward.
It's like the animators were like, okay, we're making Jerry do a Digimodify. Now what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if Rio has the same awkward pause.
Yeah, I don't remember. He probably does.
No, I think they
I don't think he ever does it.
He didn't make it in the animation, like the typical animation sequence. They just showed his face dramatically and then
No. So Rio, when he did Digimodifies with the Goliath card, I'm looking at now, he doesn't really get his own sequence. He kind of just like does it in, I don't know, he said like, they show him like swiping the card in the real world, or not, you know what I mean? Like outside of some magical reality thing. Yeah. So like it doesn't get the same kind of sequence thing.
Outside the realm of stock footage.
Yeah, outside of stock footage realm. So, okay, so first topic that Stevie passed through was, what do we think about how these new tamers found their Digimon? And I just wanted to go through, so I mean, Jerry, obviously was stalking Leomon, and then it seemed like they became a tamer union as soon as it became kind of mutual. Leomon went to protect her and stuff like that.
Leomon was endeared by the stalking.
Yeah, he
actually kind of was.
Yeah. I'd be much more frustrated that if it were a guy stalking a girl. So at least it's not that frustrating.
Yeah, but I feel like we shouldn't be comfortable with it either way.
Yeah.
No.
They're like 10.
I guess the power dynamic is still a 10-year-old girl stalking a powerful Digimon. So it's a weaker thing stalking a powerful thing. If it were a powerful thing stalking a weaker thing, that would be really scary.
Yeah, that I agree with.
Yeah. And Kazu basically cares for, I guess it's still Andromon at that point, when Andromon's sick. And I was genuinely surprised that his, finding a Digimon, and I was like, Kazu, you are caring about someone, and not just for your own interest, not just for I want this Digimon as my partner. You're actually I'm just going to stay behind and help him. And
I mean, there was nothing leading up to it, but it's still a very nice thing.
Well, I still think it's super blah, because I feel like it still feeds into Kazu's not caring about the female characters at all. In that he's like, well, I mean, Jerry has all these other people that will come help her, but nobody's gonna help Gargemon, so I'm just gonna do that, even though it's out of character.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like it actually. Because.
Really?
Well, no, but I also think that in the end it steals spotlight away from Jerry, doing a cool thing, and then all of a sudden it's and Kazu gets a Digivice.
Kazu getting a Digivice definitely does steal spotlight, but
And Jerry was the coolest use of a Digimon card that I've ever seen. She's the first one, I think, to use a Digimon, I think.
No, she's not.
I don't think so.
Who used a Digimon before her?
Definitely Rika. I think Takato did it at one point for an attack.
It's really hard. It's really confusing for me to tell when it's a card that is the attack of this Digimon, or when it's just this Digimon.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't remember it being a Digimon before.
Right. I wish that were a plot point. It was I wish there were a plot point of no one else thought he was a Digimon, and Jerry had this original idea. But instead, it's just a thing that's presented as cool, and we're supposed to, I don't know, not think about the mechanics too much.
I like believing that Jerry is just that much more creative than these other losers.
Yeah, I like that too.
I like to think of of Leomon fusing with Lady Devimon, because that
is actually kind of terrifying.
I found the first instance.
Who?
Metal Garurumon.
It's and they use it as a Digimon?
Yeah, they use the Metal Blaster attack.
Who used it?
But who?
Guillaumon. I think, I don't remember what episode it was, but it definitely happens earlier.
Okay, whatever.
Well, listeners, if you can remember a specific episode and instance, I kind of don't like how this one card just turns the title battle so much. It's just like it kind of removes the strategy from the Digimodified cards. It's literally just a trump card.
Strategy has been removed from these cards long ago.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's true. They never really had much strategy. It's more like removes the strategy from my ideal version in my mind.
Okay, I found the first instance. It was Henry using a Meramon card in the Icemon Cometh.
Okay. All right. I'm wrong.
But they hardly ever do it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that doesn't really make sense. Like, why wouldn't you just use the most powerful Digimon all the time? Like, anyway, and the last one, Susie gets Antylamon. Okay, so Susie gets Antylamon when Antylamon's just like playing around with her, going along with it, and then tries to walk away. And then I guess it's when she tries to protect her from Makuramon. I forget the event specifically.
Yes.
Yes.
It was Makuramon.
Yes.
Like after Makuramon left, then she got Digivice.
Yes. And it was when Takato and who did I just say? Takato?
Yeah.
Takato and Henry.
Takato and who again?
Takato and Henry were about to attack Antylamon. So it's good timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my head I don't think they didn't spell it out in these episodes, and I don't know if they spell it out ever later, but my headcanon / understanding, trying to parse what's going on, is the Diginomes form into a Digivice, and that they do it when there is a genuine connection between human and Digimon. And
I like that.
Yeah, and also with them being, having some kind of will of their own makes sense in the forming into Digivice to stop them attacking Antylamon makes a lot of sense. Like no, these guys are cool. Stop. But it kind of makes sense that there would be some will to that. And as I explained in this episode, the Diginomes are kind of like the living entity representation of the digital world itself. So
right.
I thought that the digital world was already a living entity and they were just some spun-off other living entity. Yeah, it is. I thought Antylamon and Susie was cute because I feel like Antylamon was just like, I'm so bored standing at this gate all the time.
Where nothing happens ever.
Where nothing happens ever. So I'll just play with this human child, even though I know it's kind of wrong, but all right, now we've had our fun. I can walk away.
My question is, the Sovereigns are mega level Digimon. Why are they even bothering having guards?
Yeah.
Well,
they're
annoying.
lazy.
Yeah. They got better things to do.
They're mega level Digimon, and they have the power apparently to turn other Digimon into mega level, and yet they have guards that are ultimate level.
Yeah, okay, that part.
And then they send all their guards to the, human world.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the impression I got was that Antylamon was the only guard for Shuchaomon. The other ones were sent off.
I thought there was an implication that there were 4 gates.
Yeah, it would make sense for there to be 4 guards. So Antylamon, maybe the dog.
The dragon is dead.
So one of the weird things is, if you ever look at the lore pages for the Devas, is that they're all broken up into specific sovereigns. It's like, each sovereign has 3 Devas. But I'm pretty sure what I recall of what they explain in later on in Tamers is that that's not true in this canon. That they're all owned by a single sovereign. I thought maybe I just assumed that, but
I mean, there was some implication in these episodes that there were 4, like in the info dump one.
I know there were 4 sovereigns. I'm saying what I recall is that all of these Devas are owned by one single sovereign. The implication that other sovereigns might have other lackeys.
I don't know where you got that from, though.
I think it's later on, but like my whole assertion of when the Renamon sex gender thing happened, maybe it's just totally off the walls. It's weird that I have such strong convictions about things happening when I haven't seen this in 10 years. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your mind is lying to you. Just remember that, okay?
Yeah, that's mansplaining for you. A trend that I noticed, it's not really much of a pattern, but I realized that with Leomon and Andromon, that they're both fan favorites from the beginning of Adventure. Mm-hmm. And Antylamon a little bit fits in that territory with being something from the movies. But all these Digimon, and it kind of doesn't fit because Andromon then doesn't stay Andromon and goes back to Guardiamon. But I like how they are able to pull in these fan favorites into the larger cast without really taking away the spotlight from the main 3. It's focusing on the main 3 while still throwing in some ones people love. In contrast to later seasons where they're like, we just need some attention. Come on, just put Agumon in again. Okay, let's do that.
Let's redesign Agumon and Greymon a million times.
Yeah.
And then GeoGreymon looks so much closer to Greymon than the Cross Wars version of Greymon.
Oh boy.
Anyway, I like how Cross Wars basically just like redesigned all the Digimon. That was, even if it like wasn't executed well, I like the idea. And anyway, yeah. So the second comment from Stevie was, what do we think of the new side tamers as tamers?
Well, Kazu doesn't deserve this. At all.
Okay, I agree, but also we haven't seen what he's like as a tamer. And
I don't care.
Recall, I'm not really sure if we are. Like, I don't remember him really getting much.
I don't remember him doing anything.
I don't think he deserves the character development that led to his becoming a tamer, but like with this character development, like I'm okay with him being a tamer.
Just can't forgive him in the first 5 minutes.
I know. Like yeah.
I just felt it was inevitable that they rushed it.
Yeah, I like him better than Rio.
Ooh, no, don't make me choose. I cannot choose.
Yeah.
Also, I'm proud of Jerry.
In what way?
She's actually really stepping up and doing things. I mean, okay, apparently other characters used Digimon cards as Digimodify cards before, but I think she deserves to be in the main cast.
I, at first, was very troubled when Rika started being mean to her for that hot second in the beginning of 31.
Yeah.
But then I did like that Jerry was like, okay, Rika, like, I'm gonna listen to you. Like, I agree. I need to be better at this. And I was like, wow, this is some mad. And then Rika, like Renamon scolded her and she was like, okay, I'll be nice again.
Yeah, I love
that.
Like,
strange events.
Rika was just really stressed at that point because...
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
She was like, she's been the one that's like, we need to go home after getting Calumon, but we just lost Calumon.
Yeah, I think she was pretty excited and then was like, God,
and now she's babysitting again, basically.
Yeah.
And she's been left in the position of leader more so than before, and I think that was stressing her out a little too.
That's true. She's not a leader. She's not good at that. So.
Yeah, so I was glad they smoothed it over.
I really appreciated how they're both able to admit to a fault and then apologize and reconcile and be like, they just like said it showed so much maturity.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like that's rare for Digimon.
Yes.
The interesting layer to that conversation. I mean, you don't need to know this to like that moment works totally well in the dub. It is slightly different than the Japanese version. The Japanese version is about Cherry she just refers to Ruki as Ruki-chan. And then Ruki's like, that's really childish for you to call me Yuki-chan. Like, that's like what kindergartners say. Mm-hmm. So then she like chides her, and then I think Redamon chides Ruki again. And then Ruki's like, okay, fine. And then refers to Jerry as Jerry-chan. So she kind of like...
That's actually super cute.
Yeah, it's really cute, yeah.
I actually feel like that change in English is justified and does keep mostly the same like tone.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I should say Juri-chan, not Jerry-chan. Anyway, yeah, like they did a good job keeping. They can't make it about Chan in English, obviously. So
right.
Yeah, both versions are sweet. Another thing is that, like, I guess we should include Rio in this discussion as well. And I feel like it's interesting seeing. Okay. No, we're gonna use him as a bad counterexample. So, like, what I found interesting was seeing Suzy and Kazu in these episodes, like, that their relationship, like, with as tamers is. I feel like seeing Rio in the last couple episodes, it kind of, the way Rio is a tamer is very much aligned with the English dictionary definition of tamer. You know, like, he is like controlling Cybergemon, is like, you know, has a leash and is like, here's what you will do. I need to keep you in check because you're so powerful.
Let's be real.
Yeah. He's the old image of a lion tamer.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Now he just needs like a huge cage in the middle of a circus.
And a chair.
And a chair. He can go find one floating around in the digital.
Yeah, because he knows where everything is because he's so great.
I know,
or
he's
maybe
so great.
he can just wish up one or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does he believe in his Digimon?
But yes, so I like how now we are back to, we see the tamer relationship not being about that. It's about being a union in a sense. And
can we come back to that later at some point?
Sure. You mean like this episode or later?
Could relate to my topic.
It'll really, okay, yeah. We'll come back to this in your topic.
But wait, did we talk about Suzy? That was the second part.
I mean, Susie was included in my read of what tamer to them. It's just about friendship and it's not about controlling.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about Susie as a tamer because it's hard to talk about Susie with responsibility.
When she's how old is she? 5?
I think she sounds younger than that, actually.
But I'm pretty sure she's 5.
She might be 5, but she
maybe
acts
4.
Younger. She acts younger than 4, which is amazing.
Does she even go to school?
No, she doesn't.
Because she's at home all day. So my topic is kind of a brief topic, but I wanted to talk about how the show communicates stakes. And not to get too ahead of myself, but how it poorly communicates stakes is kind of my premise. So in particular, the main episode I'm talking about is episode 31, which is the one with Orochimon, which is kind of the only episode that has...
that's what I thought.
Yeah, it's the only episode that really has big stakes. I mean, episode 30 has stakes, but they get split apart. But there's not really a big climactic fight or anything. 31 is the only one in this chunk that has a fight. And... So yeah, this is a problem that's been on my mind, kind of in the back of my head, annoying me for a while. And actually, you guys should remind me if I'm wrong about this, but what I recall, I don't think it's ever been spelled out, but the impression I got from the last chunk of episodes is that when they're with Calumon in the digital world, they can go to Ultimate. And when they're not, they can only go to Champion. And they can go to Champion by using the modify cards, but they need Calumon in order to do the Matrix's evolution. Is that right?
Yes.
I believe so.
So that I don't think we got any evidence of that, but that's just what we're all assuming. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's pretty clear.
Well, okay. So one level, I'm frustrated that needs to be an assumption, even if it's clear. It's frustrating.
I mean, yeah, it's never made they've never said it out loud, but.
Right, which is frustrating because you need to communicate to the viewer, but also just you would naturally have conversations about this to each other.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and so a formula for Digimon, which has existed in I think as long as since season 1, is that they fight in, and I remember it being a common complaint for people who are kind of frustrated with Digimon, is that they fight in their lowest form, and then they find out, okay, well, this attack didn't work, let me go to the higher form. Okay, this attack didn't work, I'm going to go to another higher form.
That's actually not just Digimon, though.
Sure. Right, I'm not saying it's just Digimon's fault, but I've heard people complain about it. I'm sure it's a common trope in... It's a
common kids anime trope.
Right. But so on some level it makes sense because you're you don't want to overpower them, so you're okay, let me fight with gauge their power level. It's kind of you do a similar thing when trying to assess how much you can lift when lifting weights. You start off with the lowest set and see if you do 10 without much exertion, then raise it until you are exerting a lot, whatever. Anyway, so that makes sense. But what's frustrating is when there isn't clear communication of what you can do, what level you can get to. And in the past, that's been very clear because it's just we have unlocked Ultimate, which means we can get to Ultimate. We have unlocked Champions, we can get to Champion. But with the introduction of Calumon's presence being important or not, or the crests, or all those different things, it makes it so that I feel at least season 2, which had revolving elements like the crests or the Digicore power and stuff, they were very clear about what powers they had unlocked at the time or not. And here it's we don't really know what they can or can't do. And when Calumon appears, when Calumon digivolves to Calumon, it's when Calumon's there, but they never are all right, Calumon's here, so we can go to Calumon or anything. So that it frustrates me. It also means that when they're in those fights and they're fighting with their lower form, you can't tell if they're fighting with the lower form because that's all they can do and that's extremely dire, they need to win in that form, or if there's okay, cool, we can go to the next form. And that's really frustrating. In the fight with Orochimon, they make it seem it's really dire, and yet I'm but Randomon, you can go to Cubimon, can't you? Right? This is
That's what I was wondering.
It's always Rika who messes this up somehow, and I'm Rika, you're supposed to be better than this.
Well, I tried. I was annoyed by this too. I tried to justify it in that Renamon had gone to Ultimate the episode before and probably just didn't have the energy to do it. But I would have liked, some backup on that. Thanks, show.
Right, in the moment you're okay, is this she's just gonna knock down and then go to Champion again, or is this
yeah,
this is a really dire fight?
Right, I think because in the she did a similar thing in the clock area where she was yeah, Renamon, go fight the ultimate level thing, and then digivolve to Cubimon only after Renamon was getting destroyed by it, and it's all right, is that the plan for this fight? I don't know. I don't understand.
So my suspicion is that the reason this keeps coming up, and keeps coming up with Renamon in particular, and this is just my speculation, I think it's that Renamon looks so much cooler than Cubimon. And they having Renamon in these fights because Renamon looks cool. And especially in the fight, I can't remember what they were up against, the Gigadramon or Megadramon, whatever. Renamon did a cool thing with flying past the Digimon and like had a very dynamic, cool scene. So they're like, I think they're kind of like constrained in that regard. So they're like,
It is true. It is true. Renamon is cooler.
Renamon is cooler, but I think Cubimon's still pretty cool, and they just don't know how to make her cooler. Like, they don't know how to animate it to like show the coolness.
I mean, the same stock footage over and over again of like the fire wheel doesn't work.
No.
But that shows that they're not getting away with like stock footage this season.
That's true. That like, in the past season they would have just used the same, like gone to champion or ultimate whatever form and then just use the attack and then they would fall down and...
No, but like just the Digivolution sequence is like 30 seconds of like stock footage maybe.
What about, you saying they're not relying on that or they are?
They're not relying on it.
Oh, okay. So actually, so that's actually something that bugged me about this is that I feel like they did rely on episode 30, which is the one where Cubimon, like Renamon goes to Cubimon and also to Daomon, whatever. And I feel like I remember feeling like they felt like padding. It felt like it was like, do we really need to see this entire sequence? I guess they're running out of time, so we need to show the entire Cubimon sequence and the entire Daomon sequence. And I felt the opposite in episode 31, where it felt really packed. And I was like, maybe the reason they can't show Cubimon is because they didn't want to like put in the sequence of the Digivolution, or like just the writing of that was hard to make all those moving parts work or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. But that's a good point. Like when they don't digivolve, it means that they're actually... That's actually kind of bad to rely on the stock footage and...
But it's not good from a story.
No, right, yeah, so...
Making sense.
Right, it's like, it's kind of cool that you're not relying on the stock footage, but the story is kind of more important to me, so... Yeah, and also, I mean, the thing it also reminded me of is that it reminds me how if you look at the matchups of the fights in season 1, I don't know if this goes throughout the whole season, but I think it's true of the first couple, like a lot of the fights in the early parts of the season, is they all play out according to the data vaccine virus hierarchy. So it's like...
They do?
I'm pretty sure. So like Greymon beating Shellmon, it's like Greymon's vaccine, Shellmon's virus, and that kind of thing. And that it's a weird...
I thought Shellmon was like a... No, I'll keep going.
Well, it kind of is like the crux of this argument, so I don't want to... Because I don't think it's true.
It's a data.
Okay, then maybe this doesn't really... Well, maybe it explains how, like... I remember hearing this. I can't remember where I heard it, though. Maybe it's it explains why Greymon didn't destroy Shellmon, but, like, Garurumon did destroy Seedramon or something like that.
Actually,
Did
Greymon
he?
is weak to vaccine... I mean, Greymon is weak to data.
Right, but, like, maybe that explains why he struggled with Shellmon. But, no, because...
Did Garurumon destroy Seedramon?
No.
No, yeah, you're right.
He just burned his mouth.
Fine.
The first time they actually destroyed a Digimon was... Devimon.
Okay. No, the Bakumon. The Bakumon earlier than that. But,
No, they didn't destroy them, did they?
I think it's commonly...
think they did.
Yeah, it's commonly accepted as, like, the first death. But anyway, yeah, you're right. Those matchups don't really line up like I thought. I guess there are some, there's like Antylamon. I think the perception we get from a lot of Antylamon scenes in Adventure is that Antylamon is just like super powerful, but then it's also like the scenes in which he is shown as super powerful are him going up against like evil attribute Digimon or dark attribute Digimon. So it's like he has a power advantage there, and it's never entirely clear if Antylamon is just overpowered or if Antylamon just has a type advantage.
Or both.
Yeah, or both. So, yeah, that's kind of like, it's not really, I guess that's less important to communicate stakes there, because you're just like, all you need to know in that instance is that Antylamon is powerful. You don't need to know, like, it's not, I think the problem here is more dire, but I think it's just a kind of endemic problem Digimon has of not really communicating stakes well.
Stakes well done.
Wow.
Oh. So these episodes deal a lot with whether if you believe in something, it can become real or something like that, and a lot with empathy.
Like the Velveteen Rabbit.
Yeah. A lot with empathy with like Kazu obviously being strangely very nice. Random Digimon. But I actually, I don't know. I mean, there had been leading thoughts to it, but I actually started seriously thinking about this topic at a jokey moment, which was when Takato and Henry are still trapped in the cave and they're doing the PDA thing to their PTA. And
I can't, sorry, PDA means like, personal device, but all I can think of now is public displays of affection. Takato and Henry alone in a cave.
Yep.
I shouldn't I joke about like how Takato and Henry have some PDA with a PDA or something?
You should have, but it's too late now.
It's too late now. What's done is done.
You made your bed, now lie in it.
Oh boy.
Anyway, so at some point exactly. At some point the parents are like, hey, Takato, like, let us talk to the other people. And Takato's like, well, okay. This is Rika. Takato finally gave me this stupid stylus so that I could talk. I'm fine.
He's actually pretty good.
Exactly. And I was like, wait, I actually really like that Digimon. Well, I think there's two things going on that I like. I mean, I like that it's like, it's trying to be very observant and like, you must have empathy. Like, empathy is a good thing. But I think there's also, with the belief stuff, there's sort of a recognition that like, unless you actually truly experience something, like, your empathy has a limit, like, and that's always going to be true. Like, you can be like, I intellectually like, I think it's part of what is so hard for, like, you know, racism and all the isms. It's like, I can intellectually be like, yes, that is a terrible thing, but I can never, like, truly feel the terrible thing that is happening if I'm, like, a dude talking about and, like, want to understand a woman's experience. Like, yes, I can understand it, but...
Right. It's a perpetual problem of allyism that you can, as much as you try to be an ally, you can never, you know, make up for just experience.
Right. So I feel like Digimon is like, it like recognizes that, but also wants to try to find a way out of it by making this like weird belief system where it's like, yes, like Takato and Guillemon are actually the same thing, sort of. And I'm like, all right, we're going to like weird places here. I guess that makes sense because they eventually like fuse into a thing, but like...
Spoiler.
Whoa, spoilers. Although, I mean,
although we do sort of see that in
we see it,
14.
We've seen it before, actually, where Takato has been feeling Guillemon's pain and stuff.
Yeah, that's...
which is weird.
Not really. But I mean, I've been saying this all along, that Digimon represent a part of a person while also being their own separate entity, which is, you know, kind of bizarre.
Right. That's always been like it's always been a subtextual like meta level, and this season feels like they take it to a place where that's actually the literal what's going on in the world, the mechanics.
Yeah. Well, they suggest it. I don't think he really, you know.
Which, and to be fair, like a lot of Shibumi's suggestions are just random BS. Like, what if the world was made by an eggcorn? What's an eggcorn? I don't even know. Like that's exactly the kind of thing that comes out of his mouth.
All right. Sorry, Ashley.
No, yeah. But I feel like the Takato moment was interesting because, like, I feel like it forced him to try to, like, put himself in people's shoes, and then he was like, I don't know, what do you think Kazu would say, Henry, or something? Something like that happened.
What would Kazu say to his parents?
Exactly.
Something snotty, probably, right?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I don't want to derail this too much, but, like, because I think that the Takato emulating these other people is important, but, like, I just want to say, I really... I'm uncomfortable with Takato, like, talking to the parents, like, lying, being very, it's very deceptive.
Well, sure, that's a different level.
Right.
Yeah,
he's implying that they're safe. He doesn't know what condition they're in, and yet he's, like, telling the parents they're safe. I guess it's, like, the kind of thing that you can eventually be like, okay, we could tell them, that if something had happened, you could tell them the truth later, so it would just be, like, a delay of information. It's not that bad, but, like, part of me is like, I'm just really uncomfortable with you lying about this when you don't know if they're safe.
Yeah. But I mean, we've had this before.
Yeah. I mean, he put himself in an uncomfortable position because he had sent the SOS or whatever, and then he's like, I want to backtrack from that, like, as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Like, I really appreciate that, because it was like, he acknowledges that, you know, the way he would talk to Yamaki is totally different than the way he would talk to his parents. And... Like,
yeah,
which is just totally experience that, like, everyone I think has, you know, like, especially that, like, that feeling of being like, I sent this text, oh god, did it go to the right person? Like, oh no, what, my parents instead? Like, that's
yeah,
that's actually gotten, like, more relevant over time.
Like, hey, can you bail me out of jail? This is your mother.
JK, nothing about jail.
It's a different kind of make-believe that he's doing there.
Yeah, but it's also the kind, like, I think there's two, like, because I feel like it's easy sort of, because I would never say that, you know, as a writer or whatever, you can't write about other people's experience and that it would be inaccurate. Like, I think you can imagine it in that way. Like, you can make up another fictional person and, like, give them feelings. But I don't think you can ever, like, feel it yourself. sort of deal. And so like, I don't know, this whole scene is like a total joke, and that's what it brought out for me. I was like, all right, this is very interesting, brain. Thank you. But yeah, I don't know. You want to talk about more about Digimon being a union?
I don't think we've gotten to the interesting part of that yet in this show. Spoilers, not spoilers. Although I do think it's interesting that Suzy and Rio have the most powerful Digimon so far.
Okay, wait, that is actually, yes, I love that. Like, because I think it relates to, you know, if like children are the ones who have the more creative beliefs and believe them harder, if Suzy is the youngest, then it sort of made sense to me for her to be the most powerful.
Right? And I mean, that goes back to TK also.
Well, that's true.
Actually, it's kind of funny that Suzy has the most powerful Digimon because she's only there because she was bored.
I think there's more to it.
I know, but one of the main reasons is that she was bored and wanted to be with Terriermon.
Well, are you saying that the weird pixelated doorway to the digital world would have been there anyway, or do you think it went to Suzy? Do you think it went to Suzy, or do you think it went to the park?
It went to Suzy.
Right.
So my reading isn't that Suzy found it because she was bored. It was that Terriermon and kind of Henry wished her into being pulled in.
That too, but
I think there was like genuineness on both sides that they like missed each other.
Sides. Yeah. It was less boredom than longing.
Yeah.
And love, real love.
No, but for Suzy befriending Antylamon, it was literally because she was bored.
Oh yeah, well,
or Antylamon was made for her, or Suzy was made for Antylamon, and those bonds drew them to each other. To sleep, perchance to dream. God.
Shibumi was great, guys.
Shibumi reminded me too much of college, man.
I mean, it is like a lecture hall.
Yeah.
A weird lecture hall with a giant floating Digivice.
Yes, that was a little less like college.
My brain really hurts with this episode.
Yeah.
So much hurt of my brain.
So I'm trying to, like, I can't remember specifically, but like this talk of feeling other people's pain or suffering, whatever, it is like reminding me of something that feels very familiar, like we like recently watched or discussed. And it might just be the Takato feeling War Grandma's pain, but is there anything else that you could think of that
I don't know what you guys watch.
Steven Universe?
I meant like in Digimon.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Was there any other thing?
Oh.
I mean, Takato's the big one.
Yeah, I think it's just that. I think
It might have been a moment with Leomon, actually, when he wanted to protect Jerry, but I don't...
It might be like not just. I'm thinking like the first scene of Takato feeling War Grandma's pain, but also Takato Takato pushing his emotions onto War Grandma to get him up and fighting at the end of the...
that happened too. There was a moment earlier when Rika was sleeping and Renamon was like, I'm starting to sound like Rika. And I thought that was actually very...
But she said,
done.
how disturbing.
Yeah, I thought that was cute.
I actually just read that. I was like, you shouldn't be disturbed that you are like Rika. You shouldn't be like disgusted by your partner.
I mean, well, that's a different type of empathy. Like, that is like the natural thing that happens of if you hang around with a person, you start sort of becoming like them. Like, you don't like...
You mean the period phenomenon?
What? Yeah,
the
it's like
phenomenon
that.
of female... yeah. Being around each other and they all get on the same period cycle.
Oh, yeah, it's like that. Totally. Well, I was thinking more like at work, one of my coworkers frequently likes to say things like in threes. Like he'll be like, yeah, cool. But then I start doing that because like we are around each other for 8 hours a day. And it's just like, all right.
First of all, actually, you should at least know that cool comes from community is the thing that Abed
Jeffrey,
says.
Nobody believes your pop culture references at this point.
I'll send you
It cannot be the origination of this.
I'll send you the GIF. I'll send you a meme that, I feel like I had that with coworkers when I, like my first job out of college. I remember there was like one person in particular whose mannerisms I didn't particularly like, but I ended up doing. I was like, wait, I'm like, the way I talk is just adopting this. And I feel like my most recent job, I haven't done that at all. I think just because I don't talk to coworkers too much. They're like, well, we just talk less. Like the other like we would have like daily meeting kind of thing, and this is just like much more independent. And
I guess the other thing that I actually did want to mention on the empathy part was that it's interesting if you put it in like a cultural perspective. Like the digital world is always evolving, and I'm like, yes, all our cultures are always all like blending together, and that can be beautiful unless you mess it up frequently, which frequently happens, and that's sad. All right, I'm done.
Okay.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. I'm out, guys.
Out of the game. They keep pulling me back in. Okay, and now we're going to take a look at some Fox Kids commercials from when these episodes were airing. This first one is for episodes 30 and 31, which were the Everyone Reuniting episode and the Orochi episode.
Next on Fox Kids, it's 2 all-new episodes of Digimon.
Wow!
First, a storm's brewing that could rip the digital world apart.
Run for
What is this
Will the
music?
Tamers SOS reach Earth before Calumon hunts them down?
I've waited so long for this.
Then, when Jerry's nabbed, can the team save her before she gets snake bit?
Help me!
Plus, who will become the newest Tamer?
Oh, man.
Find out on 2 all-new
I don't know,
Digimon,
it's the one who
starting
talks
next
in that
only on
scene.
Fox Kids.
Anyone's noticed that like when they showed Jerry being like
It was
carried
Rika's
away?
voice?
Yeah, it was Rika's voice being like, "Help me!"
Yeah.
And it was, yeah, that was a little awkward.
Awkward. All girls are the same.
Yeah, exactly. So in terms of like the commercials being way off from the actual episodes, those were actually not too far off. There was a little bit of like the will they find whatever before Beelzebub finds them? Like that tension was not in the episode itself. But
And I don't think the storm could really have broken the digital world either.
well,
I don't think there's a way that you can like truly break the digital world.
I think they were supposed to imply like Juggernaut's presence does actually kind of is really hurting.
Well,
the
it
digital
does something, but I don't know
Yeah,
that
it's not gonna like destroy
would
it.
tear the digital world apart, or whatever they said.
The only thing it tears apart is everyone.
It's my heart.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. Okay, so the next commercial is for episodes 32 and 33, which, in case you haven't noticed, we mentioned a couple times. I've mentioned a couple times before, but like these episodes, a lot of Tamers was aired in 2-part episode thingies, and this one's episode 32 and 33, which were the info dump episode and the Antylamon episode.
On Fox Kids, it's 2 all-new episodes of Digimon that will change everything you know about the digital world. First, separated
that's
from
true.
their friends and family, buried beneath tons of rock and water, will Henry and Takato find the courage to save themselves and unlock the secrets of the digital world? Then Susie gets lost, and the race is on. Can Henry find his sister before the Devas do? It's a surprise ending that will leave you speechless. It's 2 all-new episodes of Digimon today, starting after Power Rangers Wild Force. Only
Well,
on Fox Kids.
all right, that's somewhat accurate. Something.
No, yeah, those are both surprisingly accurate. I mean, you can see how, like you can see them really stretching for like, oh, there are shots of the parents in the episodes. Let's talk about how they're separated from their parents. Like,
You could see them stretching to put all the attention on the boys, too.
like the boys are basically like not present in Susie's episode, and they just show up at the end. But instead, it's like,
Yep.
can the boys catch her, or like, catch up to her before she's blah
Yep.
blah blah? And,
Yep.
Oh boy.
So the next commercial is just for episode 33.
Is it going to be about the boys again?
I assume actually most of these episodes have several variants, and it's just that they're limited resources and I can only find one of each one that's been uploaded. So I'm glad that I can find an alternate variant for this one. So this is for
Oh, the
Susie.
picture of Takato in the bottom right there is really attractive.
Yeah.
Takata screaming. That was sarcastic, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Why would I ever say a 10-year-old is attractive? No, I wouldn't.
Leomon's attractive. Are we allowed
He's
to say
not
that?
10. He's not 10.
He's not a person either, though.
Okay.
Well, you're a furry. Like, I'm not judging your furriness.
Okay, here I'm gonna play the commercial.
Henry's little sister Susie.
I like chocolate bunny.
So sweet, so innocent, and in over her head. When she gets lost in
The music drop was great.
she will find that her new playground is now a battleground. That kid is mine.
Oh boy.
It's an
Good pun.
today after a new Metabots only on Fox Kids.
Metabots.
That was so much more dramatic than the actual episode.
Yeah, I know. I mean, so that one at least like
Face
doesn't
looks
make
really
it about
lopsided right here.
Oh yeah, it totally is. That's not the right angle. Oh wait, I need to take a screen.
That's amazing.
Put that in the notes so I don't forget about it. Yeah, at least that one didn't make it about like the boys finding them, but it still like made it much more dramatic.
I do like it that it's about Susie.
Yeah. And I mean, the other one, the one that was focused on the boys, I liked how it, I could see how a commercial is like, oh, they're just going to play around, might be kind of boring, but instead it's like, no, there's actually something that's actually going to be surprising here. And I think that was a
Her playground becomes a battleground. Dun, dun, dun.
Ashley, love is a battlefield.
Exactly.
This next one is, I can't remember which one. It was a general commercial, a commercial about Terriermon. It's really weird. Let's play it.
Oh, it's made for Asher.
What was made for me?
This commercial.
It's
just about Terriermon,
apparently.
Sorry, I was looking up to see if I could find out how old Susie is. She's apparently 7.
What?
Wow. No,
that
can't be
is such
right.
a lie.
That is a lie.
But that's what the wiki says.
Which one?
Digimon Wikia?
I mean, it's worth being skeptical of that, but
Does it age 7?
There's no source.
No, that can't be right.
She doesn't go to school. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. She is not 7. I babysat a 7-year-old.
I mean, so the other Wikimon also says 7, but also does not cite a source.
How is she not in school?
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that is bizarre. Huh. Anyway, so this commercial is just a promo for Terriermon.
The sweet and loving explosive power of Terriermon. Digimon.
What? Is that it?
Keep him away from me.
Oh my god, that made it all worth it.
Yes, that is it. I guess they need something for like really short teasers to fit into other time slots or whatever to be flexible.
That is not what Terriermon is about, yo.
Momentai. Keep him away from me.
Yeah, sure. Explosive power.
So this next one, I can't remember which one. This one was, I think it's more of a general thing for Tamers itself that aired around this time.
Okay.
So here we go.
Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions, Digimon.
The Digimon have broken out of the networld, materialized here on Earth, and are gathering at DQ right now. Only at DQ you can pick your favorite Digimon, along with its matching limited edition collector card, free with the kids meal.
Those cards are horrible.
What's wrong with those
You
cards?
can get them for 99
I think it was the plush on the card.
Yeah,
it was.
Oh my
There's only one way to
gosh,
find
that's
out.
I think
terrible.
May has all these
Something
plushies.
Probably.
Why would you want the card to have a picture of the plushie? You want the card with a picture of the Digimon, not like the crappy plushie. Oh my
No
god.
offense to your plushies, May.
I mean, yeah, it's cool that May has them, but
May, actually, I'm not sure if May has them, but I feel like they do.
I mean, I would just assumption, like just natural assumption, I would assume that they have it if it's a Digimon thing. So, like, no other information.
If you don't have them, May, we're disappointed.
Being a Digimon tamer is so new to me. I have so many unanswered questions.
Okay, so episode 30. How does Calumon sling a rope to save Rika in the river? Like, what? No, like...
Also, Rika was totally going to hit her head on a rock, and they just switched. Like, there was a shot where it was like, yeah, Rika's going to hit those rocks, and then they switched to a different shot where it's like, yeah, Rika's cool. I'm like, that's... No.
The power of editing, Ashley. If you just believe in the editing, it happened.
Exactly.
Editors save lives.
Okay. This is not so much. Okay, this is kind of answer question. It's kind of an angry rant. But like, why do the Digivices keep not recognizing Digimon for like a couple of seconds? Like, oh,
that doesn't make any sense. No, they're like, I don't know who Beelzemon is, and then they're like, it's Impmon, and then it can read him. I'm like, what? That's so BS.
It bothered me initially. I like, okay, whatever. And then it keeps happening. It happens so frequently that it's just like they never work properly. Like, it's just like each time it happens, I'm like, I roll my eyes and I'm just like, again. And each time they're like, oh no, it can't read any data. And it's like, maybe you could just learn that it takes some time to load. Like, maybe you need some better Wi-Fi reception or something.
Isn't it like it exclusively does this? Like, it does this with every Ultimate?
That might be the pattern. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Or Mega. I mean,
it might just be too much data to load.
Is it the same in the original? Is there dialogue there? Or Because I feel like it could be like a dubism where they're like, there's silence here while they wait for it to load. It's just make them talk about how it's not loading.
I mean, so like on one level, it makes sense to like raise the stakes of it, but it's just frustrating because like they keep raising the stakes in the same thing, the same way. Like it's just like they keep playing the same card. You're like, wait, this loses any. The first time you're like, whoa, it doesn't recognize a Digimon. That's like cool and like kind of scary. But then when it happens every time, it just loses all meaning.
I mean, it even happened with Guilmon, but that one makes sense because it's Guilmon.
Well, then the other pattern I wonder that it might be is, does it do that with every Digimon that hasn't shown up in the previous series?
No, because I feel like there were ones early on that were new, like the Armor Revolutions, like the other alternate Armor Revolution ones. I don't remember. Maybe they didn't scan
maybe those
them.
showed up in cards before. I don't know.
They have.
I feel like it's just an artificial way to raise stakes, and
all right.
I mean, yeah,
I don't think we'll ever know.
Well, yeah.
Listeners, tell us.
Okay, yeah. So I found the part in Japanese.
この間のバイクデジモン。なんかすっげえ嫌な感じ。
データが表示されない。
Yeah, so Henry right there is like...
He said there was no data.
Yeah, he's like, there's no data. And then there's like several things in between before it actually loads again. So yeah, they definitely talk over it, and they definitely talk about they don't get any data. He actually he I don't know if he hits a button or whatever, like the thing expands in the Digivice, no data, it goes back, and then later it shows up again, which I think is different from before. I think it like would show an empty placeholder and then eventually just load. But anyway, minor differences. Anyone else want to answer questions?
Yes. Shibumi.
Shibumi. How?
Shibumi. I was actually, this might be answered later because I don't remember like anything past this point, but was that actually Shibumi or like an artificial intelligence based on Shibumi that just happened to be hanging out in the digital world? Or
I am confused with that too, like because
like where is his body?
Right, like
why was he see-through? Yeah.
And why was his body like? Didn't they imply like that his body turned into something that looked like a cloud-based Digimon? Like it didn't just turn into a cloud.
It turned into the
Like,
I thought the Digimon just like was there.
It implied that his body was also like just a shell of a person because when you saw his eyes, they were like yellow or something.
Oh, that was weird too. Yeah,
and like yeah, and I mean, he went back to sleep, and I was like, okay, that's what computers do. They go back to sleep.
Yeah, I was like my headcanon so far is that the thing that they saw in the digital world is like he downloaded some of his memories or thoughts into the digital world, and that's like a thing acting on its own. But then I'm like so confused. I think there is a resolution to what's going on with Shibumi in the real world later on.
Yeah, I mean, I think they meet him in a solid form at some point.
Right.
Because they definitely have talked to them, and I never saw that episode before.
That's an important episode.
There is another info dump coming. Yes, no, I never saw that episode.
I'm frustrated why it took Katsumon. Like, Katsumon is like, oh yeah, I just skillfully located Calumon after like, however, like 6 episodes of Calumon wandering unchaperoned, unattended. Like, why didn't Katsumon locate Calumon then? Like, what?
Yeah.
It's easier when everybody's together.
That actually might be I could see the logic behind that like they can detect distortions, and so like higher level distortions that everyone's together, and that's actually like more plausible than why do none of the side tamers ever discuss Digivolution?
Like, why is Jerry not like, Leomon, what the heck can you Digivolve to Ultimate?
Because he's already an adult.
Right, but like 8 episodes into the main season, like I think that's actually I think it was like 11 episodes before, maybe it was 8 episodes before Mega Growlmon showed up.
What?
War Growlmon. Yeah.
No, that was like 14 episodes.
Yeah, that was 14 episodes.
Oh, okay.
The first 8 episodes were still the champion.
Whatever, yeah, it's probably like that, 14 or something. Anyway, they're 8 episodes in, like Jerry's 8 episodes into having Leomon, and at that point, like Rika and Renamon had so much discussion of when Digivolution was going to happen, and like, I guess it's because he's already ultimate. Leomon's already ultimate.
What?
Champion.
Okay. I just said that Jerry's already an ultimate level Digimon, so like I'm a little confused.
I thought. When Orochiman was staring at her, I thought that was like actually going to be plot relevant, but it wasn't. Larger plot relevant.
Me too.
But it wasn't.
What was she staring at?
I thought he was going to be like
Orochiman was staring at Jerry.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be like a Kari-esque moment. Like I thought Orochiman was going to be a bigger bad guy than he actually was. And then...
Nope.
I thought so many things that were very wrong.
I mean, I assume Orochiman staring at Jerry is just that like the Orochi myth involves a maiden being sacrificed to Orochi.
Well, okay, but Rika was there too.
Rika's not a real.
Then I decided that probably Jerry smelled like her restaurant. So she already smelled like sake, I guess.
She smelled like the milkshakes. Mm.
She has good milkshakes.
Okay, let's not talk about the milkshakes of 10-year-olds. Okay, so right, okay. What's my next?
Is that what they're calling them now?
That's what they were calling them in 2003, apparently.
Which is when this was made, so...
Yeah, it's only like a year, 2 years after this came out. Like, it's weird to think of them as being so connected. Like, I think of them as being very separate.
Yeah, blown your mind.
Oh, God. Yeah. Why did Henry think that his dad would know anything about whether the digital world water was, like, breathable? Like... I guess that's the kind of thing that, like, as a kid, you're just like, oh, my parents know everything. Let me just ask them about anything. And
well, it was because he like, made
it. Programmer.
Yeah.
Okay. And programmers know everything. I know, yeah.
Well, I mean,
like, as a programmer of the digital world, he is, like, the god of the digital world, so...
Yeah.
Technically, he is.
What if the sovereigns were based on the programmers?
Yeah, what if they're all just...
Yeah. But there's more than four. Yeah, there's more than four programmers. I
know it's not like an actual like theory what's going on here, but that would have been a cool thing for it to be like these our gods are based on the programmers, and the programmers themselves are like, we don't actually want this. You've made these in our image, but like no.
But then all the programmers would be tamers to those devas or to the sovereigns, I guess.
Yeah,
and then it makes sense for the devas to belong to their kids.
Ooh,
mind blown.
Any more answer questions?
So maybe I'm confused, but when Beelzemon fights, what does he fight? The bunch of tiny things?
He fights the Calumon and then an Inframon.
Right. So the Calumon all fuse together to make a giant Inframon. And I'm like, is that
a thing you can do now? Like, what?
Yeah, is that like a thing that we can do now? What's happening?
Well, that's always been a thing that Inframon could do. We've seen that in
the movie.
In Diaboromon,
I guess that's true.
Yeah, the Revenge of Diaboromon, yeah. So Stray Bits, this is our segment where we just talk about anything that fell through the cracks, other topics that we wanted to talk about and give more time to. So go, Ashley.
Okay, I hated the first 5 minutes of episode 30 for actually two different things. I guess this one came first. It was Takato and Henry have a mild conversation where Takato's like, I'm worried about Rika. And then Henry's like, he said something to the effect of, yeah, if Rika was here, we could find Calumon more easily. And I'm like, the way that you all frame this makes it seem like you're still way more concerned about Calumon than you are about Rika.
Yeah. I didn't catch that.
Which, I mean, it makes sense for them to be more concerned with, like, Calumon is a lonely Digimon who can't fight, whereas Rika is, like, one of the strongest tamers and can totally fend for herself with Renamon. And so, like...
Yeah, I read that differently, too. I saw them, like, Rika is really cool and good, and it'll help for her to be here, and we miss her.
Well, I think that it's complicated when the following scene is Kazu and Kenta. Yeah. Kenta's like, I should feel bad about Rika missing, but I just don't like her very much.
Oh,
and then Kenta's like, yes, needless guilt, Kenta, like, let it go. She's always bagging on us because we don't have our own Digimon.
That's not why she's bagging on you. She's bagging on you because you're obnoxious.
Like, Jerry's like, you just don't know her. I like Rika. And then Kazu's like, well, you have a Digimon, therefore she likes you. And I'm like, Rika liked her before she had a Digimon. She was nice to her. Like, oh, you want to learn the card game? Like, let me help you. Like,
yeah, and actually, for someone who is portrayed as so anti, like, femininity, the fact that Rika, like, really does care about Jerry and takes care of her is important.
Yeah, it's totally
so important.
Yeah.
Rika is great.
And the way that she treats Calumon, too, is also like, she genuinely likes Calumon as well. I don't know what your problem is.
So what it also reminded me of is just that, like, I feel like assholes very often don't know why people hate them. Like, they think it's for very different reasons.
Yep.
So
that's true.
Oh, that brings me right back to The Social Network. Thanks, Jeff.
Are you saying Kazu is Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah. Kazu is Mark Zuckerberg.
Except dumb.
That's what you said. Kazu is Mark Zuckerberg, but dumb.
Yeah.
I almost made a pun, but I didn't want to offend the internet.
Do it.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh!
At gonna die now.
Mark Zuckerberg's gonna find you and
he's gonna find you on Facebook, man, and he's gonna destroy you.
He's gonna destroy you.
No, but I meant that towards Kazu.
If we're like, did we get out all our feelings about the first 5 minutes? Because I do have a stray bit about Kazu.
I have a bit more feelings about that. In that,
okay.
So Ashley was curious if that scene like read totally differently in Japanese. So I didn't in reading the differences between Japanese and dub versions. I didn't see anything that flagged me as important for that segment. But because she was curious, I went back and listened to it in Japanese, and I'm not able to understand 100%. I understood half of the words they're saying, and my impression, which obviously doesn't get all the meaning, doesn't get all the context, all this stuff, but like it seemed like they're saying basically the same thing, which is that Jerry was like, well, she likes me, and then they're like, well, they like you because she likes you because you have a Digimon, but like other thing around that, it was a little bit later, I think, but the thing is definitely different in the Japanese version is that I forget exactly what they're teasing about, but like when Kazu and Kenta are teasing each other, Kazu strangles Kenta, like kind of like violently. It's pretty violent looking.
Whoa.
So it's even more reason to be like Hiro Kazu, because I feel like this isn't like a super persistent thing, but I feel like we've gotten some comments saying that like Kazu is annoying in the dub, but like Hiro Kazu is cool, and so I'm like a little skeptical of that now. I'm like,
I'm highly skeptical. People have to provide me with some concrete evidence of like Kazu being better. The only other thing I thought was notable about the first 5 minutes, or like generally, was that there's a lot of people trying to find fault in actions, but notably, Kazu and Kenta are not like, I feel some fault for, Rika not being here with us, like, because we made her mad. They're just like, I don't like Rika.
Yeah. Like, Kenta was, like, almost getting at admitting fault by feeling bad about her not being there, but then he didn't.
Yeah, no. He's like, I should, but I don't.
So I have a bunch of stray bits.
Okay. What you do? Because you're Jeffrey.
So
I have some other ones, but we can go. Let's go.
Yeah, I have so many that I want to. Maybe we should like alternate or something. But my memory of the Digimodify cards. My memory was that Digimodify cards basically become irrelevant by the time they go to the digital world. That's just totally wrong. Like no, like apparently that's still a very important thing. And yeah, and I feel like they almost get more frustratingly non sequitur. Like they become more important when they're used in place of Ultimate Digivolution. So more frustrated with them. We kind of briefly mentioned before, but the whole circling around the flag, I'm glad that's kind of done with now. Like all those the 6 episodes where they're circling the flag we
just totally destroyed the flag.
Well, it just made the world feel so small that like they keep going back and forth between the flag, and like it makes it frustrating from a like level of like, well, you could just meet each other if you just like wait a couple seconds. Like, it like annoys the viewers in that way. It like makes the world feel small because they're not going very far from it. It's one of those things that's like it's very logical that they'd be like, okay, we need to find them. Here's what the one thing we can do that we would probably meet up again. So like, the thing that it reminded me of is One Piece actually. So One Piece is
the Skypiea arc.
I'm not sure. So what I mainly refer to with One Piece is that like most of the arcs feel like the characters are all just like going in all sorts of random directions, and they're all just like doing crazy like random things, and like you kind of trust that they're all going to meet up again, and like it's all going to work out because it's like has a very formulaic structure. But like you never. It like on one hand isn't very logical. Like they should be like, how are we ever going to meet each other? Like how are these crazy things all going to come to a head later on? But like you as a reader, like, well, I know it is because like it's paced in such a way that it's going to. But like, so I think there's a trade-off between like things that are logical and things that are fun. And the whole 6 episode thing where they keep going back to the flag is one of those things that's not fun at all, but is logical. And I like how now they're like they all met up and they get split up again. I think it's going back to the fun side of the spectrum where they're going off on their own adventures and they're not like being quite so logical about how they're going to find each other, but they all just will because the story will force them to. Yeah. I just feel like it's one of those things that like logic and reason in plot is held up by some people as being like the end all be all. And it's like, if this is not logical, then the story is bad. If it's logical, it is good. And I'm just like, but like these things come at expense of each other. Like logic can come at the expense of fun, and fun can be instead of logic. And anyway, it was cool to see the other side Juggernaut for the first time in these episodes. Like, we actually see like because we've been like from Tokyo, it's like, this looks kind of ominous, but whatever. It like draws in the devas, whatever. In the digital world, it's like it's destroying the world. Like it's really scary, and you can see how the devas have a very militaristic response to it.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, it's the same. The humans respond in a militaristic way to the devas, and it goes back to like when their Shibumi's like, the Devas and all the Digimon are trying to like carve out their own sort of space, but then they ended up replicating like human gods.
Yeah. I like how they finally acknowledge that irony, because like we were like, this is kind of weird how that ended up, but then the show acknowledges it. So
I have this really random stray bit that's probably meaningless, but I like that Rio and Beelzemon have the same red scarf thing going on. Beelzemon has it on his arm and Rio wears it around his neck.
Wait, maybe that means that Beelzemon murdered Rio and took the sleeve. And
maybe.
If only.
If only. That would be great.
So like maybe the Rio that we see later is not actually is like an imposter or.
Dun, dun, dun.
I had totally forgotten that there's like it's more important, I think, as you go into the later stuff that happens in Digiworld, that there's this moment where they have they've solved all their objectives, they've gotten Calumon, they're all reunited, and they're just like, wait, how do we get home? And then everything falls apart. And yeah, I think that's going to be important.
You can never go home.
Never.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the moment where Henry and Takato go into the tube and they're in a bubble, and I'm like, it's Steven Universe.
Wow.
I need to catch up with that again. There were new episodes yesterday.
Yeah, these episodes are whack.
Okay, don't tell me anything. Don't tell me anything. I don't want to know.
I just want to briefly check in with Beelzemon, have a one-on-one with him, and see where he's at. So he,
okay.
So he's wandering around for several episodes since he got his powers. I don't remember when that was in last arc. And
it was the one with the.
It was the one with the motorcycle.
Daruma? Well, yeah, the motorcycle.
Yeah. He kind of realizes that there's no point to power. He's kind of been like wandering around aimlessly, and he realizes there's no point to power unless he has something to prove
or to kill.
Yeah. But I think at this point it's more like about proving that he has worth and value, or like is better than anyone else. And it's ironic that like the one time where he actually had a thing to fight for was when he was like kind of allied with the Digimon, with the Tamers against Indramon, I think that was the Deva. And it's like
the horse one.
Yeah, the horse one. Horse one that didn't.
Yes, that was Indramon.
So I don't know. That's kind of sad to think about how like he's lost that connection now, and so like he doesn't really have anything. I guess at that point it wasn't anything good to fight for either, because he was just like fighting to be rebellious and was like, this thing is telling me I'm not powerful, but I don't know.
So he's a rebel mon without a cause.
That's true. True facts. Even if I groan at the pun. His victory over Calumon and Infamon is frustrating and sad and understandable as his first taste of victory and his first taste of actually like being better than other people. And as someone who like values that so much, but has been at the opposite end of that for so long, you can kind of see like his response to that is not at all healthy. And it seems like the beginning of an addiction to winning and power, which, given what we're going to lead into the next arc, I guess doesn't last very long.
So do his bullets just go that slowly?
Those bullets, like, they go slowly. They also like destroy things around them, like in the general area of them. Apparently, like.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what's going on here.
Like, what kind of target practice is this? You don't need target practice. You just shoot wherever.
But actually, I guess to your point, like, was it that they were going very slowly, or was it that like that it was slow motion?
That's what I really don't know.
Because it's going that slowly,
it's supposed to be slow motion, but really poorly done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I assumed it was not slow motion. I assumed it was just like they are slow, which makes no sense because they could just get out of the way. Like.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I guess there are only other visual indicators to indicate slow motion, not just like slower frames.
Yeah.
I just want to briefly touch on, because I think we should at least mention it in passing, is the Orochi myth, which we casually mentioned Okami in the recaps, but that won't mean anything to anyone who hasn't played Okami, which is a great game for PS2. And
Hey, I played Okami Den.
Did you like Okami Den?
Yes, but I also did not play Okami.
Okay. I felt like I didn't like it that much. I feel like I was kind of sick of it. Like, it felt very long, and like Okami is also very long, and so it's just like, I'm like kind of like,
it's like if you already did Okami, you don't need to play Okami Den because it's the same game but smaller
and cuter.
That's probably
cuter. And yes, it is so cute. And like, because I did Okami Den, I feel no need to play Okami.
But yeah, so the first thing about the Orochi myth, the milkshakes in this episode are not milkshakes. We mentioned it before in passing, but like, yeah, those are the sake in the Japanese version. It's actually weirded me out because like it felt like one of those things that watching the dub, I actually wasn't sure if it was a dubism or a like weird digital worldism from the original.
Right? I felt the same way.
Yeah.
Because even though it's supposed to be sake in the original, it's still the white color. So I was really confused because it looks like milk. So like in both versions. So like I was like, what? I guess the weirdness is that it's sake that looks like milk. I don't like. So the actual myth is based on. If you aren't aware of Orochi, Orochi is a really common name because it's a very important folktale in Japanese culture. So like you probably are familiar with lots of other things are named after it. I mostly know this from Okami, which Okami is a PS2 game, a lot of other remakes and stuff, but like it is very heavily, it's like fictionalized versions of many mythological Japanese stories. So like this is the first part of the game. It's a very important part of the game. It's not like 100% accurate, but you get like an interesting retelling of the story. And anyway, so Orochi is a 8-headed snake monster that like takes women from the village and like they sacrifice women to the monster, which explains why the monster kidnaps Jerry, why Orochimon kidnaps Jerry. And in the story, Orochimon's put to sleep by sake, and that's why the whole milkshake feeding to Orochimon puts him to sleep or whatever, and supposed to be defeated by I forget, it's like a storm god Susanoo, which has no relation to Susanomon. I mean, I guess there is relation, but Susanomon is not connected to Orochimon. So
right.
yeah. If you're intrigued by the story, play Okami. Okami is great. There's retellings in like lots of different anime games, things from Japan. The main things I recognize it from are Okami and Golden Sun, and apparently it's in Shaman King, but it's been a while since I've seen the second half of Shaman King. So is just me? Is it weird that the Gekomon are always subjugated whenever they appear?
Yeah, Gekomon.
That is,
They're kind of like made to be like the miserable, like they're just always out of luck and...
Right. You know, like if Digimon were originally an English-speaking franchise, it'd be easy to explain because toady is a word for, you know, like a hanger-on, someone, a sycophant, really. But I don't know if they have that same association with amphibians and subjugation in Japanese.
Also kind of weird how the group splits up. One group meets Gekomon, the other group meets Antylamon. And I'm like, that's a weird, maybe unintentional, maybe intentional callback. Yeah. Just want to briefly mention that the tower, the place where all the parents meet up, the Digimon PTA, is a real place. It's Shinjuku Opera Tower. I think there are going to be scenes there later. Like it's their base of operations after Hypnos, kind of not the place to be anymore. I had a note here that said, "Is Divermon Canadian?" Because he keeps apologizing, saying sorry.
Wow.
Actually, I'm kind of curious if you guys know this answer or if listeners know the answer, alternatively. So the Japanese name for the Digivice, the English name for the Digivice is D-Power. But my first question is, have they called them that yet or at all?
No.
The toys.
So it's just the toy in the real world?
I don't think they ever mention it in the show.
Okay, so they just say Digivice.
Yeah, instead of D-Arc, which we know they are.
Yeah, so in Japanese they call them D-Arc.
Well,
so that's my other question.
Introduced arcs.
So that's my other question. In the Japanese version, in the Japanese show, do you know if they refer to them as D-Arcs before or ever? Or
I don't know.
Well, okay. Well, listeners, if you know, because I'm curious if do they start calling them D-Arcs because of the introduction of arcs in this context, or is it before that and then they're like, oh, okay. Wait, I just need to say, Jerry pretending to be Terriermon, pretending to be a doll was gold. It was amazing. No one else loved it? Sorry, not
Wait,
Jerry.
when?
Susie, sorry. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, I was like, what?
Susie pretending to be Terriermon, pretending to be a doll was golden.
Yes, that was good. That was
and then John was like, I'm not even going to ask.
Yeah,
that was a real thing kids would do. Unlike most things Susie does.
I just like how she wasn't imitating Terriermon, just imitating Terriermon pretending to be a doll.
Right.
She hasn't had that much time with Terriermon not as a doll.
Yeah.
Ridiculous Dialogue Draft, where we each go around and pick our top 2 funniest, most ridiculous, or most touching lines from the episodes. It's sports ref. Because you get to pick the winner.
You submitted to it being a sports draft.
Apparently, I am a team of 2 quotes. And they get to fight against all the other teams of 2 quotes.
Yep.
And you get to pick, and somehow that's a draft. I don't know.
I really need to get the clip of, there are several clips of Ansem Kingdom Hearts saying submit. Whenever anyone disagrees with me, just submit!
I go first, Andrew goes second, Jeff, and then Ashley. Sorry, Ashley.
Oh, burn.
This is a failure.
We're sexist.
Maybe it's a draft because we get drafted in an order. Yeah, totes. whatever.
I mean, fantasy drafts don't really make sense. Like, you're making a fantasy team, but that team never plays together. You're just like, let's take the stats as if they were playing. Like, the actual premise doesn't make much sense. So.
But it is fun to play.
Sure, this is fun to play.
Asher goes first.
I do go first. All right. So my first one is from episode 30. There were actually a lot of good quotes in this arc overall, but
it was a bit of a silly arc.
All right. Yeah. So this is Terriermon. And they've just discovered that Calumon has taken their flag, and he goes,
Now that Calumon's a real criminal, will he be punished with a public flagging?
And I was like, it took me a second, and it took everybody else on the screen a second, and they all just looked at him.
I think I still didn't get it.
Okay,
but now I get it.
The fact, like, the joke itself, I was like, groan, but the fact that everyone pauses and just like groans at him too, I was like, okay, that's great. And there's like data tumbleweed in the background as it's going on too, right?
Yeah. I don't know if there was a tumbleweed, but they all turned to look at him and just like did not say anything. It was great.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah.
Okay, this is when Jerry is with Orochimon and they're talking about tips.
I always do get the biggest tips.
You shall live.
And that's my best tip yet.
I know. Jerry was like on point in that episode.
I was killing it.
I actually gained a real appreciation for Jerry. I did not expect that coming into Tamers.
Yeah, my memory of her is just like, oh, she's the like uninteresting, annoying character who like bothers them.
Yep, that was my impression.
Oh, I'm third, right? Sorry, I'm making a GIF of the tumbleweed because I think it's like a really good just reaction GIF in general for like when someone makes a bad joke. Okay, so mine's from episode 31, and I think it's when after they've been split up and Takato, Henry, and Terriermon are flying through, like, I guess they're like in a transition phase of like flying through places before they actually land in somewhere.
You really think I have any idea? Moment time! Oh, moment time yourself!
Get off my case. Okay. What shall I pick here? Wait a second. Okay, to go with Andrew's quote, this is from episode 31, and it's Leomon, because Leomon is a treasure. He delivers all his ridiculous lines with such a straight, like, serious tone.
I love him.
It's the same Leomon voice as season 1, right?
I think so.
I think so, yeah. So, I don't know, they're just talking about, like, after Jerry gets captured, and he's like,
even if Jerry is used to working in a restaurant, there's no way she can handle a tough customer like Orochimon.
I almost wrote that one down too.
So good. Just the way he says it.
I
so
know.
Good.
The way, I agree. The way he delivers all his lines is like perfect.
Super perfect.
Now I'm between two Leomon quotes.
That's right. Between Two Lions. That was a PBS show. Something. No.
Was it?
Something like that. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It was called Between the Lions.
Are you talking about like the Between Two Ferns that like...
No, Between the Lions is on PBS show.
Okay. Between the Lions is the thing, but Between Two Lions is not.
Okay, maybe I just mashed them all up. I don't know.
Oh my god, I just got the title of that show. Oh my god.
Wow.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's okay. For context, people who aren't looking this up on Wikipedia right now, it's a show on PBS that was like a puppet thing designed to promote reading. So yeah, Between the Lions.
It was like lions that worked at a library.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, did you just get it, Ash?
No. All right.
From the 90s?
I don't know, man.
I'm next. So I'm going with another one from from episode 30, rather. And so, it's from the annoying part of the episode that we don't like, but Leomon has just said something very profound and encouraging to Kazu and Kenta about, they'll definitely they'll definitely find their partners. And Jerry goes,
Hey, did you really mean that? You think those two goofballs will get Digimon partners someday?
No, but if I didn't say something, they'd never shut up.
And I was just like, whoa! Just burn from nowhere.
I had many troubling feelings about this scene.
That was really harsh.
I don't care.
I actually just didn't like going back to my topic from 307 on the confidence front, that it's like Leomon falsely fed their overconfidence. And though it's funny to us for him to be like, no, I'd like They're ridiculous. Like, I don't care. It, like, in the end plays into, especially since Kazu's, like, gets his Digimon and undermines Jerry's achievements as a tamer. And I'm just like, I hate all of this. Anyway.
I don't think his getting a Digimon undermines her skill at all, but...
Well, I think it like, narratively took away the spotlight, though. The way that it was done.
Yes. But I was still proud of Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, until the point where Kazu gets a Digimon, it's like Jerry is the one. She's clearly not like one of the main three. She doesn't do all the fighting, doesn't get like Digivolutions and stuff. But like, she's like the one exception. And so when it's like she's one of many exceptions, then that's just like inherently going to be very different and going to be. Is it my turn?
It's Andrew's turn. No, it's Andrew's
my turn. Okay, it's another episode 31 one. Okay, and it's Gekomon, and he says,
"Come and get your milkshake! You shaky milkshake!"
I can't believe we had to hear that.
I knew this. I can't believe this went. I was like, this is going to go nowhere good if it's a Gekomon.
Wow, Ashley, that's racist.
What?
It's true. It's facts.
So mine's from episode 32, and it's when there was a joke before this point that I guess Terriermon like laughed at Takato or something, and they're like breathing underwater or whatever, and they get to the cave where they find the Divermon or whatever, and there's a circle on the wall they eventually push through, and they see it, and Henry's like,
"Hey, what's that? Vertical hopscotch?"
I take it back. You're not funny.
And I was like, oh, burn.
Terriermon had some great lines this time around also.
It's more like, when doesn't he?
Terriermon when snarky is just great. Terriermon's the best.
Yes.
Wrong.
Although we all chose Antylamon to be the best this episode.
Yeah, but just this episode.
I mean, Guilmon has really suffered from some poor animation things in the past couple arcs. Anyway. Alright, I'll go. This quote is in episode 32 when Takato is like emailing back and forth with the parents and people. I guess it's in the very beginning. And he says,
"Okay, how do you say that we almost drowned and now we're trapped in a cave with no way out and make it sound reassuring? It's better than school?"
No.
No, actually, no.
Oh, nobody else might.
I actually wrote that down too.
You know what? I liked it.
I liked it too. I liked it too.
Okay, sure you did.
I did.
So now it's time for recommendation articulation, where we go around and plug some things that we have been enjoying recently or not recently, and we just think that would be cool for you to enjoy too, that we want to spread around. So my recommendation is Mouth Time, which is a podcast from Reductress, which is a satirical women's news magazine, kind of like The Onion, but for women's news magazine, fashion magazine kind of thing. And it's kind of hard to explain the premise. So I thought the best way to explain how funny it is to take some headlines from the Reductress website. So these aren't things from the podcast itself, just to like give you a taste for the kind of humor they have. And it's really funny. The podcast is great. Like, I haven't listened to all of them. I'm going back through the backlog. It's mostly not with guests. They have some guests. They have like the lead actress and creator of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend on one of the episodes. It's really funny. It's really great. I thought reading these headlines would be the best way to convince you that it's funny. So here's one headline: "Cool ways to sit here and die after accidentally liking his pic from 79 weeks ago." And this one, I don't know. This one I didn't think would be that funny, but it made Ashley just like laugh for like minutes on end, which is "I lived it. My whole period just came out at once." This one's a bit more.
No, what about the one with the wedding dress? That was
okay. This is the one that Ashley liked the best, which is "Oops, how to recover if you wore a wedding dress on your first date."
Oh.
It's so good. Oh my god.
This is a more topical one. It's adorable. This couple of gay penguins adopted Ariana Grande. It's not like the podcast is reading these headlines or anything. It's like I don't know how to describe it. They talk about, it's like improv humor kind of things, and like they play characters that are parodies of things. It's really great. Just go listen to it. It's great. And also check out the website, because I follow the Twitter account. I don't actually read the articles. I just read these headlines, and they're great. That's a recommendation.
Okay, I'm gonna plug this for no other reason than at the end of work on Friday, my manager was like, I've been listening to a lot of Blink-182, and I was like, okay, why? And she's like, me and my boyfriend were talking about, like, why nurses are fetishized, and then he was like, maybe it has something to do with that Blink-182 cover album, and I was like, alright, this is strange, and then I was like, this isn't bad music taste, and I just don't really care. But I really liked the two bands that Blink-182 formed when they, like, broke up or whatever and hated each other for, like, 10 years. Those two bands are Angels and Airwaves and Plus 44, and they're both very different from each other. Plus 44 is, like, electronic-y and, like, very emo and depressing. I think their biggest hit was When Your Heart Stops Beating. Yes, it is, like, exactly as you would imagine that would be. And Angels and Airwaves is very, like, cheesy, inspiring, like, spacey sounds that I'm like, yep, I dig this. It's not what you would expect from a Blink-182 member. And so I encourage everybody to, think beyond your Blink-182-ness and go listen to their underrated bands that are Angels and Airwaves and Plus 44. That's all.
All right. So I was going to recommend a book, but I actually didn't like the ending of it, so I'm not going to recommend it.
Ooh.
Oh, no, but what book was it? I want to know.
You should shame it instead.
Shame. The Shame Game is the new name of this corner. The book is called The Fool on the Hill by Mark Ruff, or Matt Ruff or something.
I feel like I know.
But I mean, the rest of the book, I don't think you would like it, actually, but the rest of the book was enjoyable for me, except for the end. So I will recommend... I mean, if you like meta stuff, you might like that book, but I know you don't. So instead, I will tell you about a cool thing that I don't know if I can recommend because I haven't gone yet. But there is this thing called Svara, which is Svara, and they have queer Talmud camp retreats in the summer. And I'm really excited, and I'm going, and you can camp in a tent if you want. And it's cheaper to do that, and I am not doing that. But if you are a Jew nerd, I would recommend it highly because it sounds really fun. If you want to sit all day and study Talmud in the summer, if that's your idea of fun. All right, I'm done.
That's really cool.
I think it's cool, but I am also in rabbinical school.
Wait, I'm struggling between this is really cool and also Talmud sounds extremely boring. And
well, Talmud's not my favorite, but queer Jew camp is.
Yeah, I'm just like, this is really cool that it exists and seems to be popular and have support.
Yep. All right, Andrew.
Okay, I'm gonna recommend an anime. It's called Unhappy. Basically the name Anne, or A-N-N-E, and then happy, but it's also Unhappy-Go-Lucky for the original manga title. But basically, the way I can only describe it is it's basically an alternate reality Danganronpa where no one dies and, pretty much the main cast is girls. I mean, it's a sort of a slice of life-ish, cute girls doing cute things, but basically the premise is the characters are put in this class for unlucky, really unlucky people. So the class is supposed to, by the time they graduate, they're supposed to come to terms with their unluckiness and be happy. But the teacher is crazy. One point she saves the students from getting attacked by a grizzly bear. But by that, I mean she has a rifle with tranquilizer darts. And they have a rabbit mascot type thing that is totally not Monokuma. Or, the opposite of Monokuma because it's sort of an idiot.
It's Duokuma instead. No, sorry.
But yeah, all the girls have unlucky quirks. One girl is just unlucky. One has a bad sense of direction. One actually attracts animals for some reason. One is just unhealthy and so forth. But yeah, it's basically the polar opposite of Danganronpa.
And it's currently airing, right? Currently simulcast?
Yes.
It's on Crunchyroll?
Yes.
Would I like it?
Possibly.
Okay.
It's not offensive in any way.
All right, so it's not sexualizing middle school girls, because that's my
They're
major.
high schoolers.
Is it sexualizing high school girls? Because I'm 26.
It's not overly doing it, I think.
Okay.
No, actually, I don't even remember if there's any, but...
It's hard when you watch so much anime because you kind of don't even notice those things anymore.
No, I usually notice. It's just not this one. This one's not bad.
All right, I'll trust you.
I'm sure he's never betrayed your trust before.
He has.
I've totally betrayed his trust.
He told me there was a Cardcaptors movie coming out. And he told me that Golden Sun 3 was coming out 10 years before they actually even started working on it.
And that game wasn't even good.
It was good, but it was way too short. That's the problem.
And it ended on a cliffhanger.
Compared to the first two games, it was just like so underwhelming. I was expecting.
Yes, that is true.
Oh, ew.
Like if they had kept what they had and done more with it, would have been fine.
It's weird because like they did have like the second game had a whole like 8 characters and was like super long, super big, and the second game or the third game also had 8 characters but was still just super short. It was weird.
Yep, it sucked.
You can find the full show notes for this episode by going to podigious.com/308. There are lots of ways you can send us feedback for next week's follow-up episode. You can go to our show notes page, podigious.com/308, where you can rate the episodes, the Tamers episodes in this arc. You can vote on your favorite ridiculous dialogue draft clip, so you can declare a winner of the RDD draft. You can let us know any comments you have this episode, which you can also do via email if you want to remain private. And you can also leave us a voicemail answering a question of the week.
If you could have one of the Devas as your partner, who would you pick?
You can either call 913 Calumon if you're in the US, or send an audio recording to podigious@gmail.com. Keep them under 90 seconds to be included on air. And don't forget, you can always leave a review for the podcast on iTunes for us to transgarble.
Podigious is made possible with the support from our awesome Patreon, including, but not limited to, Amanda Angelman, Andre Leducmon, David Graumon, Eric Angemon, Joe Keto, Jack Santaagamon, Hylunamon, Sam Kruagamon, and Stevie Patamon.
If you want to support the show on Patreon, you can get some cool rewards, like access to our private Slack chat group for $1 a month, monthly stickers for $5 a month, and early episodes for $10 a month. We're really close to our next goal, which will allow us to get new podcast artwork commissioned more frequently, so check out patreon.com/podigious.
You can also find Podigious on Twitter, Tumblr, or Facebook to keep up with the Digimons and get funny images and GIFs related to the show. If you don't like how we pronounce GIF, then become a Patramon so you can vote on how we have to pronounce it. You can find me on Tumblr, where my account is PhantomCelloStaff.
And what's your password so we can sign in?
My password is go away, Jeff. Okay, Jeff.
I'm definitely Jeff on Twitter.
Ashley.
I'm AshMcD00 on Twitter.
And chocolate version of me.
First of all, that's highly inaccurate.
Maybe Ash is the version with 3 horns instead of 1.
I don't know about that either.
Wait, who was Lopmon and which one was Terriermon when we remember we did that at one point, right?
Yeah, I was Terriermon.
What was this?
You were Lopmon.
Oh, so I'm the chocolate one.
Yes, you're the chocolate one.
The chocolate bunny.
Oh boy.
Dog thing.
Anyway, I'm on Tumblr at Asher Dashery.
Our Calumon artwork is by the awesome Mary Cagle, aka Cube Watermelon, on Tumblr and Twitter.
Share the podcast with your friends who have transcended our mortal plane to become digighosts that sleep in libraries.
And join us in 2 weeks as all the kids reunite with Beelzemon and have a fun bonding experience. Bye.
Bye.
And remember, never stop digivolving.
出て始まりそれが答えたのはピザピザすいません速力で未来も今も駆け抜けろ
Interesting.
Sugoi desu ne.
Meow.
Actually, sugoi does not mean interesting.
I don't know.
Omoshiroi desu ne.
Yeah, that one.
Ashley. I'm going to only refer to you, Ashley, by your Japanese name, Ashuri-san.
Ashuri-san?
Ashuri-san.
Did you call me Mac-san?
Makudonaru.
Don't even try. You can't do it.
That's why they stopped doing that. That's why
Guys, and you can call us Softmapu.
No.
Yeah, what? No.
I disagree with this.
I will buy Softmap.
He's talking about the company. Oh. That's the one with the Shiba Inu, Ashley.
What? Oh, I thought they all have Shiba Inu.
No, that's one company that has the same dog.
Isn't that a phone company?
Yeah. Actually, maybe it's not. Because I Google Shiba Inu soft map and I don't. No, I'm thinking of a different company. That's SoftBank. I think.
You're thinking of SoftBank with a T.
Which, I mean, you own both of them, right?
No, I just want SoftMap because they have a bunch of stores in Akihabara. I will buy you.
I assume you're talking to the company and not to us, because that'd be creepy if you were talking to us.
No, I'll buy you too.
Okay, cool. I mean, sounds a little illegal to buy humans, but that's fine.
I don't know. I'll give part of the steak and Jeff to Ashley.
You're kind of funny.
Oh boy.
You're kind of funny.
Shut up, Jerry.
We've got to do some singing. We've got to do some singing. I hope you put that on a button.
No.
Interesting, I think.
I should group this together. I should have that interesting. Wait, where's the other interesting? Do you not have the other interesting? Oh, yeah.
How interesting.
That clip's way too long. Yeah.
How interesting.
Ow.
Your password. You can use mine to get on the internet.
Podigious.
Digimon Tamers. There are a lot more Tamers now, and they keep expanding because of globalization. Welcome to Podigious, episode 308. My milkshake brings all the mon to the... Okay, yeah, I know it's going to be...
No.
Also, it's milkshake singular, right?
No,
No, it's multiple.
I mean, the song is...
You have two boobs.
No.
I'm pretty sure it's singular, though.
Yeah,
Wait.
that's why it's one of those confusing things that didn't make sense in middle school. Yeah, it's singular.
Are you sure?
And then maybe she's talking about her butt.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's her butt.
Oh, it is milkshake.
Okay.
Whatever.
But look at how seductively she's, like, sucking on that straw, man.
No one should look at that. I need to get this out of my mind. Okay.
Your password. You can use mine to get on the internet.
Podigious.
Digimon Tamers are shaking the milkshakes, yeah. Welcome to Podigious, episode 308. My milkshake brings all the mon to the pod.
You said it wrong.
Yeah, you
said
did.
it wrong.
You said pod.
I said pod? Oh,
Yeah.
but it's true. They do come to the podcast. Oops, I didn't mean to hit that again. Okay.
It's just epic.
Welcome to Podigious, episode 308. My milkshakes bring all the mon to the pond.
Well, you said it wrong, too.
Okay. I'm going to do one more time. Okay. Welcome to Podigious. Okay. Welcome to Podigious, episode 308. My milkshake brings all the mon to the pond.
Digital World Part 2.
She searches for Terriermon, but buys a bootleg version instead.
That's not nice.
Whoa. I thought it was chocolate-flavored version.
Yeah. Like, that's literally what it is.
I was trying to think of a joke where, like, she goes shopping and, like, accidentally buys the wrong version or something, but
She buys the wrong flavor.
Yeah. Oh, Pixel's using my feet as a pillow.
You can never move again.
I know. He's gonna put my feet to sleep eventually. He's so cute, though. Oh, man.
I'm getting a cat, sort of.
Really?
What?
Well, you know how...
I saw this on Facebook.
Yeah, you know how in rabbinical school people go to Israel for a year? Somebody needs someone to look after... Yeah, somebody to look after the cat, so...
I can never
for a whole
visit
year.
you.
Wow.
Yep, you can never visit me. Mom can never visit me.
Wait, this wasn't on Facebook, right? Wait.
It was on Facebook, yes.
Oh, okay.
When do you go for a year?
Yeah, when are you going for a year?
After this year.
When are you ever on Facebook?
Occasionally when I have to be.
This was like you were tagged by someone else, right?
Yeah. But then I shared it to my wall, I think. I don't really know how Facebook works.
By the way, Jeff, that Digimon that you didn't recognize, that's a cloud of smoke. It's a Digimon.
What is it?
Mokumon, it's a baby Digimon.
Really?
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Mokumon.
Why is it a baby? It looks so large.
Wow, that was mean.
No, I mean,
so
like...
shapeless.
It's big, isn't it? Am I crazy?
What anime? Okay, I don't know what I'm thinking of.
What?
Thinking of the giant baby from Spirited Away. When people use, like, the names that the sub uses, they write Antylamon. And so I'm like,
Dude, it's almost basically the same thing in Japanese.
Wait, it is the difference between having Dakuten or not. But, like, it frustrates me that English people will then...
All right, section over.
Oh. Can we not have it make that noise? I thought you were like, I had like a fire alarm. I need to go run or something.
I don't know if I can make it not make that noise. Settings. All right, it's on vibrate now.
Okay, so now so do you have a timer ready for 20 minutes, Ash?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. This one's going to be kind of confusing to explain.
Started.
Okay. Oh no! The clock's ticking! Okay.
Jeffrey, are we supposed to be doing commercials in between these things?
So what I figured, I want to try doing just commercials all in one go this time. So I put it after Make Believe.
Good for you.
That might be better, actually.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't really work quite so well as like a palette cleanser or a like break thing. And I was like trying to figure out where to put it. And I was like, maybe I should put it in the beginning because it kind of frames, it's kind of like a recap of the episodes. But then I was like, we already have recaps. So then it's confusing. We have two different kinds of recaps. So
yeah.
I figured like after the topics, but before the other miscellaneous stuff. Anyway, we'll see if it works well. You can see how the devas have a very militaristic response to it. Ash, you say something?
Yep.
Right. Oh, no, I was saying I'm sorry to Pixel.
Of course you are. Of course you're apologizing to the cat.
He whined because I moved my feet.
Come and get your milkshake. Here, shaky, 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 shaky milkshakes.
I can't believe we had to hear that.
Thanks, Ashley. You only took 1 minute and 30 seconds.
That's right, because I'm a boss.
True. All right, I suppose I'll go.
Is it Yokai Watch Wibble Wobble?
It is not Yokai Watch Wibble Wobble because I already did that.
Are you still playing it?
Do it again! I am still playing it. I was playing it during the podcast.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so was Andrew.
Wait, no,
how did you know?
Because you sent me a thing.
That doesn't mean anything.
I've been playing Digimon Links and Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key during the podcast. So
Ashley is the only one on task.
I have not been playing anything. No.
Do you feel betrayed, Ashley? You're like, wait.
I do feel betrayed. I should have been playing Jack and Daxter or something at this weird angle and see how bad I was at it.
God. All right. So I was going to recommend a book, but I actually didn't like the ending of it, so I'm not going to recommend that book.
You can find the full. Wait, first of all, I didn't have the quote thing this time because we ran out of Willow and Jaden Smith quotes, and I'm like, I want to find other quotes, but I don't know what to use. So if you come across ridiculous quotes that we can use, let me know. Also, listeners, we ran out of ridiculous quotes from Jaden and Willow Smith. So if you come across random ridiculous quotes, let us know. There are lots of ways you can send us feedback for next week's follow-up episode. There are lots of ways you can send us feedback for next week's follow-up episode. I can't say follow-up episode. Follow-up episode. Follow-up episode. Follow-up. Okay.
Fa-la-la-la-la. Fa-la-la-la-la.
Wait, we should ask that as a listener then. Okay, listeners, who do you think, if the Digimon were listening to Podigious, which Digimon do you think what would the Digimon pick as their favorite hosts?
Yeah. Oh boy.
Robotmon. It's the only one they can relate to.
Oh, you think Terrymon would pick me? That's so cute.
For people listening in the outtakes of this, I wrote we have a section of the Google Doc where we write down who we picked as our favorites so we can use it later in the Fantasy Jeff and stuff. And so it was initially just like Ashley, Asher, Andrew, Jeff, and Antylamon for all of them. And then Ashley was like, after you did the outro, it was right underneath it. So she just wrote Antylamon, Antylamon. So that's how this all got started. And Asher's responding to the fact I wrote Terrymon chooses Asher. So yeah. Jokes are fun when you explain them to people.
Yeah.
We did this in a reasonable time.
Wow, we're getting better at this, guys. Look at us.
Yay.
Yeah, it does help when we are timed.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And also when I don't have a topic.
Oh.
Asher, you could have had a topic.
Yeah, I think we still could have made that work.
That's okay. I'm hungry.
I'm so hungry.
I liked Asher, you being the one in control of the time, not me.
Yeah, I also liked that.
Okay, cool. Digivolve your differences.